This is St. Louis on the Air from St. Louis Public Radio. I'm Elaine Cha. If you've been around the city lately and noticed new murals, 28 of them, in fact, that's the work of over 20 local artists selected to create public art for the Regional Arts Commission's St. Louis Mural Project. Funded by $1 million in federal American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA funds, the project brought together artists of diverse styles and disciplines to paint murals in every ward of the city. Tracey Morgan serves as a lead for ARPA for the Arts with the Regional Arts Commission of St. Louis. She's been working closely with these artists and joins us now to discuss what motivated this project and public art's place in beautifying neighborhoods in community-centric ways. Tracey, welcome to St. Louis on the Air.
Thank you.
So these 28 murals, there are 2 in each ward, have been painted at a range of places, and that includes gardens and mom and pop shops. Tell us about some of those locations, Tracey, starting with ones that many folks are likely to be familiar with.
So, the locations were chosen by several ways. So we had our alderpersons weigh in, they know their communities best, and they gave us, a few options that they had. And also we had a form on our website. So we had submissions come in. We had artists that also had buildings and building owners that they had worked with or know of in the community. So it was a collaborative, it was a group effort.
Mm-hmm. Are there some sort of hidden locations that people, should make it a point to visit, like ones that are maybe a little more embedded in neighborhoods?
I have to tell you, actually, I can't say that there's one more than the other. This whole project was based off of, really recognizing the historic value of the project, community collaboration, and on top of that, economic development. So our goal is to have tourism explode over this. People come to St. Louis from all over to, take part in our arts and culture environment in our communities. So we felt like this would just be an extra proponent to that, or component to that, excuse me.
So artist Mia Adero's mural is one that is on one side of a garden shed at the Bustania Openda Garden in Ward 10. And it includes a poem created by young people she works with, written in graffiti-like font and surrounded by flowers with children's faces in the center.
I am a person of color. I love color. My favorite color is lime green. So I will, though any opportunity that I'm able to just put color everywhere, I'm going to do it. So that's why the background has so many colors in it. And I just wanted something that will pop, something different when you come. It's fun, it's uplifting, it's bright. I think in our community, there are so many abandoned buildings and old buildings that have so many historical backgrounds, and they have graffiti on it, but the graffiti doesn't have deep meaning, or it doesn't have color. It's just somebody just came up and spray painted something. So having the opportunity to beautify something and make it a little bit more popping, or that having that image that somebody will remember for forever. So.
And that mural is in Ward 10, which includes Forest Park and areas immediately north. Tracey, what kinds of stories about each ward are artists telling through their murals?
Oh, it's amazing. So depending on how they decided to create their mural, they had the historical aspect, which lends to, the historical components of the ward, the people that live there, some of the old businesses that were there, just to highlight some of the things that maybe new people that come to St. Louis or move here don't quite know about. So, for example, there's one in Ward 4, I believe. It's called Roots of Dogtown. So that mural has like these old mines and things on it that, that existed where we were actually standing. So it was really cool to look at that and know that we're standing right here and how everything's been built around it, but this is what used to be here. So Yeah, we get a lot of those.
Yeah, are there stories that you learned about neighborhoods through this project, even as someone who is, working as a lead on it?
Absolutely. There are so many stories that I've heard through the business owners, that I've heard through the artists themselves. I mean, I've lived here my whole life, and I did not know of some of the historic value in a lot of these wards. And for the first time, we've had 28 wards, and the first time it's 14. So we really wanted to make sure to highlight all those stories, and we will on our website. Definitely have to go there and check it out. And you'll hear from, the artists and why they chose their murals and the backgrounds behind those.
Yeah.
So,
do you have an example of some, bit of history that you've gleaned so far from the project?
well, the one was the roots of Dogtown. I had no idea that it was where it was. Also, Gans Hove, he's one of our muralists, and he will be placing his mural on the Wold Recreational Center. So that's in Ward 12. And I did not know that there were all of these mounds that were in that area. So he is going to bring out all of those, and a lot of people that live in that area now are people of color.
Yeah.
So it is good for us to know and learn. Like, I had no idea, I thought all the mountains were in Cahokia. I mean, I don't mean to sound, but I definitely think that this is amazing, especially for people that are like me who didn't know a lot of those really valuable historical aspects.
Yeah, and we've talked quite a bit about the mounds on the show in recent months. So, Tracey, can you walk us through the process of selecting the artists? Who was involved in that? You mentioned alder people.
Yes.
But what and who else was involved?
So we had a nice village of people that came to help us with this process. This is the first time we had ever done it. So we wanted to make sure that it was a fair process, that we had the parties involved that had the expertise. I want to say, so it was, first of all, it was a blind process. So all the artists that submitted their work, we didn't know what their names were. We may have known what ward they were from and seen their work, but there were no names. And we had 3 public art specialists, Mallory Nazam, Misa Jeffries,
Yes.
and Gina Graffos. She's with the Kranzberg. Very influential, their expertise was amazing. And we had the members from the CDA, SLDC, and we also had our public arts lead, her name's Chloe Smith, with the Regional Arts Commission, who kind of spearheaded a lot of, bringing in the right people to do the work. And then on top of that, we had our alderpersons, we had myself, community leaders, was it Brett Narayan and also Shane Cohn, who brought in, community people that you wanted to give some insight, so we saw everybody used their own expertise, to make this happen.
So what kinds of conversations did the artists in particular have with alder people? I mean, were there things that the artists were bringing up that alders just had not thought about?
So the alders and the artists did not quite join together until the mural started. So a lot of them, when we went to look at the wall and, to meet with the building owner and go over the contract, would show up as well. So what happened there is that what you'll find are the relationships that were made between the artists and the business owners. One of the artists is a musical producer, and it's so happening that his mural is going up on a wall of a music production company. Somewhere he had produced years ago, and they didn't know of each other. He didn't know the building owner, and he didn't find the building. So it just turned out that worked out. Another artist, I want to say, it's Brock Seals.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, he's one of our artists. He was letting us know that he had purchased his first car from this building owner that he was, because when we all met, he was like, hey, don't I know you? It's like a lot of this is very full circle. And it's a little eerie how that worked out, but that's just, greater things working together to make sure that we send the message and do the work that we're supposed to do to make this city great. So.
We're talking about the St. Louis Mural Project with Tracey Morgan, ARPA for the Arts Program Lead with the Regional Arts Commission of St. Louis. The selected artists have a range of backgrounds and disciplines, so not all of them are muralists, and they've approached their work for this project in very different ways. Multidisciplinary artist Rob Armbrister is finishing up his mural on the brick wall of the Sisters Sandwich Shop in Ward 5, which includes parts of South St. Louis, the Hill, Northampton, and Southampton neighborhoods. He told our producer that his art is inspired by St. Louis's greenery.
My piece was initially inspired by, I had some out-of-town friends visiting, and they were commenting on how green everything was, and that's something that it's kind of stuck with me after they had said it, because I love walking around the city, and it's true compared to other cities I visit that there's just so many trees, so much nature, and when I was coming up with the mural idea right after that, that really stuck with me, and I wanted to kind of represent that. And something that's been really great so far is that even as I'm working on it and it's unfinished, people will walk by and comment how much they like it and how excited they are to have a mural. And that's just always great to hear. I'm glad people like what I'm doing, but also it's great to hear that people are excited to have art around the city and be excited to see what it's going to become.
Something that Rob brings up is that his work is in progress. So the way that people experience this public art is not just as a completed piece, but as it is in the process of being completed. Now, what Rob is talking about, again, not a muralist by training, was that a mix of skills and sort of inspiration, what Rob talked about, something that the project was aiming for?
Absolutely. And, we actually got a lot more than we thought we would get. The residents called for more public art. The artists called for more places to place their art. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that there was such a cry for this. And now that it's happening, I've been at murals as I'm visiting them, we gave out some really cool bags, to kind of help them through the process. They had like sunscreen and sunglasses and bug bands, things like that. And as we're there, people are driving past, they're honking, they're waving. I'm in the process for the completed murals of putting on the stencils with the artists, which is the logo, the ARPA for the Arts logo, and where you can find the map on our stlouisarts.org/HTLMP. Mm-hmm. And we have a map there that has them all. And even today, I met with Fatu Kane, and we were at the George Washington Carver House. And the people that walked by there, were just, they stopped, they looked, they clapped. Like, it was just an amazing experience to see how this touches a lot of people, and just to actually see it, in front of your eyes. It's pretty inspirational. So,
and were there any guidelines that were given to the artists in creating these murals?
Yes, there were guidelines. One was the mural had to have the historical aspect of the ward. Or highlight community engagement within the mural, or to have people come out and, do like a paint by numbers to maybe paint a piece of it, or, at some point, have them come and experience it. So that was one of the guidelines. Of course, we have to follow the rules, right? There's rules when it comes to public art, making sure the buildings aren't historic, and if they are, we get permission from the city. They had to have insurance, so that way they're covered and the building owners are covered, things like that. And then between the artists and the building owners, just making sure they had a mutual care for one another.
Sure.
Is there a place for them to use the restroom, have running water, throw away their items, things like that. So it was, we definitely want to make sure that the artists were taken care of, the business owners were taken care of, and, it was a great experience for everyone. And this is our first time around. So, there's a lot of things that, have come to light, not that have, that we can always make the project more efficient, So, but for the first time around, I think we did an amazing job. And just seeing hearing the outcome of all of the people that are involved is it's wonderful.
So the business owners, you have mentioned them. They agree to have their walls painted, and then you make sure that these are buildings that can, in fact, be painted on. Why did they say that they were interested in this program?
Beautification. They wanted the artists to have a place. They wanted to let the artists know that they have a palette. There's a place for them to come and work on, and the traffic that they notice that comes by, it can make somebody's day so much better. Just seeing a word of encouragement, or seeing whoever's creating the mural, like, you know what, and when I grow up, I can do this, or even now. So it's just been a really wonderful experience.
Right. Now, to do something like this, there has to be money.
Yes.
Right. And the St. Louis Mural Project was allocated about $1 million in ARPA funds. How is it, Tracey, that money was spent or distributed?
So 100% went all to the artists. So we had to divvy it up a maximum amount per ward. So that meant that each artist had a cap on, what their budget would be. So we worked with them on their budgets and made sure that it fell within that category. And, the business owners weren't paid. They were very aware. They knew that this was just, their
All
wall
volunteer.
was And, the artists created their budgets and received what they needed to create.
Now, ARPA funds, they have not been used for a large mural project like this elsewhere in the country. But was there some precedent that RAC was following, that comes from another country around the world, or like this idea, where did it come from?
I want to say the idea came from, the Community Development Administration. They have a really eye on what needs to be done in the city. St. Louis Development Corporation, 100% our amazing CEO, Vanessa Cooksey. When she has a vision, she has the right people to execute it. So that was something that was a call. She pays attention to what is needed, and that falls in line with our mission. So she made sure that was something that we could bring to fruition. So a lot of guidance from her, from our grants team. It was just an amazing experience.
So Waza Carroll and her
Yes.
daughter, Miaya Adero, whom we heard from earlier, they each painted their own murals on a Bustania Upenda garden shed in Ward 10. And Waza Carroll jumped at this opportunity from the Regional Arts Commission because she said grants like this don't come by often. And she also talked about the benefits of public art.
It brings beauty and can be informative. If we're putting our heroes and sheroes up on these buildings, not only is it beautifying the building, but it's also giving you something to look at, and inspires them and aspire to. Also giving artists a chance to show, who they are and what they can do.
So Tracey, did many of the artists in their applications to be part of this project, did they cite the same reasons, beautification, education, inspiration, and presentation of local artists' skills? And were there other reasons or motivations they wrote about that seemed important to include in this process of determining what is going to go up on all these city walls?
A lot of their a lot of the similar aspects of their applications were, I've lived in this city for my whole life, and I would love to see more beautiful work. This neighborhood means this to me personally. Wanting to get to know the business owners that are around, wanting to have more engagement with the community, just letting them know, like, hey, we're here and we want to do this. We want to be a part of what makes St. Louis great. You know what I mean? So having the opportunity to do that when, most of the walls here are so taboo because this is a very historical town, but we definitely not only wanted to highlight them, and they not only wanted to highlight their area, but the hidden gems within the area, the mom and pop shops that are in the wards that people may not know about. Where are you going to stop to get gas, or this community development center? Like, there's so many things, so many community gardens, So we plan to also have those items in addition to the murals. Like, while you're at the mural, go have lunch here, or you can get gas from here. We really want them to see how hard we work to make St. Louis great within the arts world, outside of the arts world. I've even seen, as I go and stencil these from the beginning, which was back in early June to now, these alder persons at work. Like if there were, sometimes we would go to a building and there was brush everywhere, or, the alder person be like, man, we need to really clean this up. And I'm seeing that happen. I was out with Fatu this morning, and the forestry department was out there, and like all this trees and brush that was there, cleaning all that up. So I think it's amazing that it's also sparking some of the things that need to be done that may have fallen out of, point of view.
Right.
So,
and in the last just 10, 15 seconds or so, how long can people enjoy these murals?
We are hoping for as long as possible. So the business owners, what's great, the ones that we've partnered with are absolutely going to make sure that these stay up as long as they can, as long as they don't sell any of the buildings. But yeah.
Tracey Morgan is an ARPA for the Arts lead with the Regional Arts Commission of St. Louis. Tracey, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And we'll have photos of some of the murals we've talked about later on our website. That's at stlpr.org.
Today's segment was produced by Aula Kuziz.
Audio engineering and podcast design by Aaron Dorr.
Our executive producer is Alex Hoyer.
St. Louis on the Air is a production of St. Louis Public Radio. Understanding starts here.
Do you find yourself regularly listening to episodes of St. Louis on the Air? Suggest us to a friend you think might enjoy our conversations, and leave us a review and rating on Apple Podcasts on the App Store. It's the simplest way to help people discover our show. Thank you.
St. Louis Public Radio is a member-supported service of the University of Missouri St. Louis.
The Gateway brings you the day's news each weekday from around the St. Louis region and the state capitals in Jefferson City.
Our schools are accredited. We don't need this bill.
And Springfield.
How many more years must pass before lawmakers see time is of the essence?
I'm Abby Larico. Join me each weekday for The Gateway on the STLPR app or wherever you get podcasts.